today. Today's practice was good, a little better than yesterday. You know, yesterday's practice a little sloppy. You know, and I don't think sloppy in far as execution or any of that stuff. Just sloppy in that we gave the guys a couple days off, and I think it's always takes that jump start. You know, after having for some guys practice Tuesday, we're off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They've been on for a while, so just to kind of get in the rhythm. Guys have played in the game and really had some time off. So, but I thought today was much sharper, much crisper practice. We got another day tomorrow to tomorrow and Thursday, clean it all up and get ready to go play.
What have you seen from Jamie on? How's he responded to on special teams?
He's getting there. He's getting better. He's doing okay. Same on offense. I mean, he had a couple nice catches, but he didn't create a champion. Everybody looks at the one play that he broke a couple tackles. You got to look about the other 18 of what he did on that stuff. That's all part of it to me. Is you got to be a consistent player every play.
Auburn's had some defensive troubles last week. They're kind of going in and simplifying things this week. I'm sure you've.
Is that what they said?
That's what they said.
Okay.
I'm sure you've been in that area before where you had some
trouble with
struggles.
all brand new complex.
But what do you think of that when a team has to go and kind of reevaluate things after the first week?
I don't know if they're reevaluating things. I mean, they do what they do. The coaches know what they're doing. They're a well-coached football team. And I think what they did now is you look, they're a very young team out there on the field, and they played a very veteran unit in Utah State. And I think when that happens, you can see some of that on the field. But now they've got a game under their belt. You're going to see probably a big improvement out of a lot of their young players. And, because, I've seen those situations before, where all of a sudden a new group's got to step on the field. And, the last group that left the field was national champs. I've been in that situation before. Then you roll out a bunch of new young guys. And it's a pretty big shoes to fill for a lot of players. And it kind of takes them a week to get used to it. So I expect them to be a much better team this week than what we saw last week. And I still think we saw a very good, talented, explosive football team that scored 42 points and found a way to win a football game. So,
do you think that's a place, though, where you have to, I know you've always got to win the battle in the trenches, but because, Auburn looked like they might be susceptible of that a little bit to Utah State, that's a place where maybe y'all have the advantage having some veterans?
Yeah, I don't know if it's an advantage, but to win on the road in the SEC, you gotta win the line of scrimmage battle. That's always going to be a key component to the game. You go watch a team that runs the football on the road in this conference has a really good chance of winning. It don't matter. It doesn't matter who you are. You look at the games we lost at home last year. Arkansas, they ran the football on the road. Auburn came in here, ran the football on the road. And that is a key component to success on the road is running the football. So we're going to have to win the line of scrimmage battle if we want to win the game.
Why is it hard to run on the road? Is it just communication is more difficult? Or
I just think everything. It's just controlling the line of scrimmage, I think, is part of it. That controls the tempo of the game. If you can control the tempo of the game, if you control that pace, that line of scrimmage, you can control the ball. I think Utah State probably did a good job of that last week. It's a good example. Kind of takes the crowd out of it a little bit. It kind of, calms things down. When the defense is going, the crowd is going, there's a frenzy. The more panic there is on offense, the worse off you are.
Do you see playing, starting the season with 2 games on the road, do you think that could kind of hasten the process of guys coming together and finding an identity, maybe especially with the young guys?
Yeah, I guess the benefit of it, there's a lot more home games after the first 2 games. But, I think playing on the road last week probably helped for this week. Guys are a little bit more comfortable with it, getting used to traveling, getting to the hotel. I don't mind road games. I think it does, a lot of times, brings you closer together in road games anyways, because you don't have distractions. Not, okay, which family's coming, who am I worried about, who's staying at my apartment the night before the game. I got, cousin Joey and Aunt Betsy coming to the game, and I got to get all these tickets and all these distractions. When you're on the road, it's us locked away in a hotel.
Ralph will be going back home, though. He says it's not a big deal to him, but he's a senior, and this is his last go around here, a lot of family. You think motivated by that? Is that something you're worried about?
I think it helps, but I think it probably was a bigger deal a couple years ago than it is is now. You know what I mean? I think he's played in a bunch of football games now. You know, he played against them down there 2 years ago. And I think that was probably a bigger homecoming deal. Now, when you get to be a senior, he's played in a lot of games. I think that kind of, you already know how to block all that stuff out and just focus on your job of winning the game.
How much different can you guys be in the middle of the field when you get Fletcher Cox back this week at Auburn?
It's a big advantage. It's a big advantage having a guy like Fletcher on the field. You know, I think you saw how young we were last week without him. You know, and if we get him back this week, it's huge to have that. You know, I mean, behind him is inexperienced players. So the benefit last week is a lot of guys got experience being out there on the field.
Those 5 guys practicing this week, they allowed to practice?
Some of them are, yeah. They probably, they all practiced last week, so they practiced differently.
You said some of them are practicing, or all of them this week?
No, the plan is when they're suspended for games, guys practice.
Okay.
You know, they have different roles in practice sometimes.
Dan, you're a 7-point road favorite against the defending national champs. That's new territory for Mississippi State. Do you talk to your players about that, or do you feel like this is just another step and they're ready for it?
Does it mean we're losing by 7? They're going to put 7 points on the scoreboard for them when we show up? No. As long as that doesn't make it, I never pay attention to any of that stuff. You know what I mean? It's not much into gambling, so.
You got a taste of it late last season with the extra attention. Now you guys are, I think, up to 16th in the AP poll. There's this thought, everybody believes you're going to go in and be able to beat Auburn. How do you handle that with the guys, with all that talk and fan base?
We're certainly planning on going in and beating Auburn. You know, and that's why we go play the game. That's our whole attention. You know, for us is our attention to detail of how do we go on the road and win that game. You know, that one game. You can't win the SEC championship without winning this first game. You know, you got to win it, and then you maybe worry about another one after that. And so you don't pay. The polls are neat. You know, the only poll I kind of take any notice of is the one after mid-January. You know, that's really you can see. The rest of it is all guesswork. You know, what if we're better than 16th? We might be the best team in the country. We might be number 1. We don't know that yet. You know, maybe we're not. Maybe we're terrible. Maybe we're 80th. We'll just see how the season plays out. So I don't think we ever even talked about polls ever since I've been here.
But the players hear that stuff. I mean, there's media saying that they're going to go in and roll over Auburn and stuff like that. I mean, how do you try and block that out? Do you block it out?
I mean, we have trouble counting to 3 sometimes in different plays. If you got the third guy, you're going to block the third guy or something like that. I don't know how to count to 16. And it's like, wait, I don't know. No, I don't. I think they think it's neat, you know, for our guys. I don't think they make that big a deal. I haven't noticed since I've been here, anytime we've been ranked. The only time I thought it was a big deal is the first time we were ranked. You know, I think for a lot of kids, it was the first time they'd been ranked before. I don't remember what week it was last year.
After the Georgia game, I think.
It was after the Georgia game, and we were playing
UAB.
There you go. I knew there was an issue. And you see what happens. You know, and I think after that game, we found a way to win at the end in a really hard-fought battle. And I think they realized that if I even think about it, or if I let it even enter my brain, we're not going to be ranked for very long. You know, because I knew there was an issue but I think after you won that first game being ranked, you know, we talked about it then, and that's what it was. And it all got thrown out the window.
Being in